I love this game, but I hate a lot of stuff about it. Quick heads up, we have a podcast, and during that podcast, we discuss your comments on our videos like these, every Saturday on another YouTube channel linked in the description or podcast services. On to the rest of the video. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is my favorite Nintendo Switch game, and it's not particularly close. No other game consolidates so much of what I love about games as much as this series, and this iteration of it in particular is, in my opinion, the best one thanks to its great balance of competitively sound mechanics as well as its great potential to get chaotic and fun with a group of casuals. As a result, it's a game that's great at a serious tournament or a casual session with a group of family or friends. It's for all these reasons and more that I've put more time into this game than I have any other game on Switch to date. During this time though, I've had my fair share of qualms with Ultimate. So fair warning, despite the fact that I love this game, this video will be almost all criticisms of it. Ultimate does a lot of good things, but this isn't a review. It's a video that I hope can catalog and bring to light some of the issues that can and should be fixed in future updates. And with that disclaimer out of the way, I'd say it's pretty clear that this offering is a lot stronger than the online one, and even then it's not perfect. So let's run through the offline problems and potential fixes before we get to the star of this episode, the online. To start things off, I just want to reiterate something that at this point for me is a distant memory but still should be mentioned: character unlocks. They need to be optional. Some people love them, most competitively minded players loathe them, and it's for that reason that I think they should patch in a cheat code to unlock the full launch roster. This way, the people that view them as a core part of their experience can still have them, but players that just want to dive in with no restrictions can have what they want. Everyone wins. This is a good segue to the next glaring issue, the single player content. To be fair, this is a series-wide or even genre-wide problem, so I can't really fault the dev team behind Ultimate for this problem entirely. But I do think that even when compared to some other fighting games, Ultimate has a lot of room for improvement in this area. The thing that I think could have been stronger but won't be due to the fact that the game is out of the production phase is its adventure mode, which I've talked about in a video that I'll link above. But the TLDR is this mode lacks an overarching payoff and only succeeds in offering a decent enough gameplay experience that eventually loses its luster and turns into a slog pretty quickly. Like I said though, no need to linger on this point. That would be crying over spilled milk, which is why I won't further drone on about how awful the UI is in this game's menus. That's not what this video is about. In regards to things that can and maybe will be improved in the future for single player modes though, would be to tweak some of the existing content to better serve their purpose. A feature that hits close to home for me, the replay mode, could use a bit of retooling with some sort of quick render mode. I don't usually want to have to direct each video that the game creates. Most times I just want to save the match in the way it was captured in game. Adding a quick render feature would serve two purposes. One, save a lot of time. Two, make it less tedious to save and share replays. Also, the game doesn't even try to visually communicate which replays have already been converted to video, which forces you to cross-reference the video and replay sections, which is not a fun experience. I have hope that the Smash World app might make this experience less annoying, but who knows. The training mode is fine, I guess, but it doesn't help players get any better at the game or training in general if they don't already understand how to lab out techniques and combos. It's for this reason that I think that training mode as it is now is only really okay at helping already pretty competent players get better at the game. I think that there's a few things that they can do here to change that. Tutorials for more intermediate to advanced techniques in the game, character specific ones with basic setups and combos, better training control with the option to have them DI in specific directions, whether it be always DI in a direction specified by the player or always in the optimal direction for a given attack, would all be welcome additions. Also, it'd be great if the combo counter was more accurate. And it doesn't end there. What about the more casually minded mode? I'm sure by now you're all aware of data miners uncovering the existence of home run contests and stage builder modes, but what about break the targets? If the point of this is to bring back those classics, it would be a tragedy tragedy to not include that mode, in my opinion. Or what about Smash Run? When a Switch Smash Bros. Game was initially announced, I'm sure many of us assumed the single player content for both Smash for 3DS and Wii U would see a return here, but if we're in the business of suggesting one, Smash Run is the obvious favorite. And who can forget the video game history aspect of prior Smash Bros. Games? Who honestly wouldn't appreciate the ability to do a deep dive on the franchises represented in this massive game? Spirits are fine and all, but what would be the harm in introducing a mode with the blurbs that used to accompany trophies? I understand that implementing all of that would have added a lot of time to the dev cycle of this game, but now we're in the post-release cycle, and I think there's no better time than this to implement little tidbits like this. Admittedly, all of this stuff is pretty far on the subjective end of the spectrum, and even despite the fact that I have all of these suggestions for improvements, it's undeniable that the offline modes in this game are the strongest part of it by far. I fully acknowledge that, and it's for that reason that my biggest complaint for the game as a whole is that there isn't more crossover between both aspects of Ultimate. There are so many ways to play this game that aren't represented online. Why am I capped at like 8 lives for arena matches with friends? Why can't I turn off the time limit? Why can't I do squad strike or smashdown battles? Why no tournament mode? Battle arena mode needs a major facelift because all of these problems could be solved through that mode alone if done right. The aforementioned modes should be included in battle arenas. Increase stage selection control with the option to pick every stage but only allow specific forms depending on the stage, since every stage can be competitively sound if you pick the correct forms for each one. For example, I'd be fine with including Rainbow Cruise, but it would need to be its Battlefield or Omega variant. And on that topic, it should be an option to have random Battlefield and random Omega, not just one of those two options. The experience of creating and hosting arenas needs to be reworked so that you can make changes to them while you're in the arena. Just while getting Battle Arena's footage for this video, I had to remake the arena 4 separate times just to get the rule set that I was looking for. Due to the fact that I couldn't make simple changes like turning off items or specific stages or to change the amount of players for each match, it wouldn't be rocket science to include an options menu in the arena, even if the reason they don't include this is because they want to be able to communicate these changes to the other occupants of the arena. They could always have a pop-up with the changes made. You need to be given more control over who enters them, sort of like how both Brawl and Smash 4 would ask you if you want to allow a player to enter your room. On the flip side, you should be able to ban players from re-entering a room rather than just kicking them. And as the host, you should be given the final say on whether or not a fight can take place. As a content creator, this is an especially desired change because most people that come to my arenas come to fight me. So it would make no sense for me to have arenas where other players take the opposing spot. And for other people, they may be setting up an arena so they can get help at learning matchups for their mains. So for them, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to get booted from the ring either. Same goes for tournament organizers. Along these lines, as the host, you also need to be able to move other players into the spectator stands or the line for the ring as you see fit. This way, you don't need to physically delegate to the other players where they should be. The problems with online Smash don't end with arena mode though. In fact, the mode that I'm increasingly beginning to dislike the most in Smash Bros. Ultimate is Quickplay. First of all, just to get it out of the way, the co-op portion of Quickplay is a joke. You can only do it locally, which is stupid, and the matchmaking is awful because of the fact that GSP isn't a factor in co-op Quickplay matches. Not that no GSP is the worst news in the world, because the GSP system ruins any potential this mode as a whole has. The way it's set up is in no way indicative of growth and in many ways your skill level, and this is for a few reasons, with the first of which being the way GSP is rewarded and taken away. In some cases, you can win several matches in a row against people with significantly less GSP than you and be given hundreds of thousands of GSP for it. And in other cases, you could win matches against someone with significantly more GSP than you and be rewarded less GSP than that supposedly worse player netted you. The amount given or taken seems to be inconsistent at best and ebbs and flows with how close or far away you are from what your average amount tends to be with that character. It's a lot easier to lose a ton of matches and get back to where you were with a few wins than it is even if you're winning a bunch of matches in a row to get to where you've never been before. In addition to this, the system incentivizes people to be, well, just plain human. It's very rare to find players that will rematch you, and disconnects due to rage quitting is frequent if you're a decent enough player. Which sucks, because if you aren't disconnected along with them, which can net you a penalty by the way, you're thrown into a fight with a CPU and rewarded no GSP for winning. Outside of that, you can be placed into matches with people that have horrible connections that they use to their advantage by using heavy characters to spam their super armored smash attacks to cheese you while you fight to adjust to that lag. Another thing people tend to do that the game allows for is set their rules to include low time limits, items on, random stages, the whole nine, in hopes that you will be thrown off and they'll win because of it. And as I'm sure many of you know, these types of players will always teabag whenever they manage to KO you, even if they are losing. I do think that quick play can be salvaged though, starting with how matchmaking is done. Most importantly, you need to be given the choice as to whether or not you want to fight a given opponent. Keep their character hidden, but show their rule set and connection speed. You should also be given the option to decide what matters more to you, finding matches quickly or finding rules that match your preferences. Preferences need to be expanded as well. Just like I said about battle arenas, I should be able to set battlefield and omega forms as preferred stages simultaneously. I should be able to set a range for the time limit, and I should be able to say what part of each range is unacceptable. Under 3 stocks doesn't work with the pace of this game, and anything under 6 minutes isn't enough time to maintain that natural pace. I want to be able to rate players based on their sportsmanship, not just report, block, or add them. I want trolls to be exclusively matched with other trolls. I don't care to block everyone, and even if I did, the game would eventually cap me. I also think this rating should be displayed on the challenger approaching screen in the event that you get matched with a troll, and all you want to do is play competitive matches with players that challenge you without the try hard, trolly Xbox generation level BS. I think they need to standardize the amount of GSP gained and lost by each player based on their performance. Did you destroy a player with more GSP than you? You should be rewarded more GSP. Did you barely beat a player worse than you? You should be given less, and the same could be said for how much they would lose in those scenarios. Matches against the CPU caused by disconnects should still reward GSP, and in the event that this player is a repeat offender of these disconnects, they should be punished hard, not just in a playtime ban, but also the amount of GSP they lose. Also, matches against people with poor connection speeds should net less GSP overall. And I'm sure there's a lot more changes that need to be made than I'm thinking of right now. I'm sure you have your own complaints and possible solutions. I want to hear them, and hopefully somebody at Nintendo will check this video out and also see your feedback as well. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button, and if you agreed or even strongly disagreed with any of the suggestions that I made, share with a friend. Tell them how smart and or stupid I am for making it. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this from me and the rest of the fanatixfour team every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.